Hello, everybody. Welcome to You and I Builder Live, the show where we didn't figure out who was going to speak today first. And with me today is Brad.
Hello.
Oh, no, I have echo.
I don't hear any echo, but my name's Brad. I am a PM with the Next Experience team here at ServiceNow. Yeah, we didn't really practice how we were going to start this thing, but it's all right.
And I had it running in the background, so I kept hearing us talk. That was very awful. So welcome, everybody. Today, we are going to drink some coffee at 4 p.m. in the afternoon because I'm tired and do some UI builder stuff. So let's go ahead and share my screen. Last week, we left off with excuse me, producer. Can we share my, thank you.
Oh.
Man, you can't get good help these days. So we ended up with a really awesome and functional list of groceries. And today we're going to turn this into an immersive. Oh, I apparently forgot to introduce myself. So hi, nice to meet you. My name is Maria Gabriela. A lot of you may know me as MGOPW on the community. I am an outbound product manager. I've been in the community for 5 years, and I have done a bunch of portal development. So getting into this role and doing Next Experience stuff has been a really fun place for me to learn. And today we're going to do a little bit of CSS in UI Builder. So this is what we have. It is a perfectly functioning application, and it is awesome. But we're going to turn it into a 3D immersive visual experience for Brad's kids, you know?
I'm so excited.
Because the youngins, they may not know how to read yet, but they still want to request things. So we're going to get this going. So we're going to, and I'm going to share this tab. We're going to get started with changing up how this button works. So this is my first time driving anything in UI Builder. So Brad, if there's cool stuff that you want to point out, feel free to interrupt me at any time. Something that I did since the last time that we were here is I added this image field to this data resource that Brad started. And now that is being sent over. So I'm going to click configure, add component after, and I'm going to look for an image component.
So I hate to throw a wrench in things.
You're good.
But this is actually a different page than the one we worked on last time. I don't know that it's a big deal at all, but this is an early version of a page. There's actually another page, which is the one we worked on, that moves the stuff over. I think it's called, maybe that page didn't make it into the repo. Fridge view, I think is what there it is. It's
Fridge view. You're right.
Which,
okay,
we can play with either of the pages. They're basically the same.
No, this is perfect.
I think this one does the thing. Let's test this and just show what it does.
Yes. And this is great because I didn't want to tell you that some of your buttons broke.
Mm.
But some of them broke, but it makes sense now that I know it's the wrong one. We can add milk.
Yeah, so this is you know, the story behind this. You already mentioned it, but basically, what we're doing is we want it to be really easy for somebody to add something to the shopping list, and so this page lets them click on a thing and then it gets grayed out so they can't add it a bunch of times, and then it goes on the shopping list on the right, which is our beautiful tiny text thing that we came up with
Beautiful tiny text. Okay, so now that I'm on the right page, thank you, Brad, I am going to get into our repeater. Number 1 is for our fridge view. So I'm going to rename this to fridge view so I don't get confused.
I love it. Anytime you can rename the component, it's a good thing.
And then this one, I'm going to rename it to list view. Well, no, I want to rename the repeater.
We could just call it like shopping list.
Okie dokie. Why? Let me edit you. There we go. Oop. So back to the button. We're just going to apply some basic styling here. I want it to be center aligned. I want the background to be our primary color because it's pretty. I want the color.
If you go to config,
Oh,
you go to edit CSS, and that'll actually let you edit the internal part of this component. So that styles tab, you're basically editing the container of the component, and then some of the components will let you style the inside of them. So yeah.
that's what I was actually going to ask you about here in a little bit, because when I was looking stuff up, I got confused about the styling of a repeater. But we will get there in a second. First, I'm going to hit save, and cool. We've got our look updated. So that's a little bit better. So what I want to do here, so I'm going to add some padding, and now we're going to go here. What is the way that I should add a component here? Because I've got add before and after, but I want to add it inside of here. Oh, I should just do that.
Yeah, I pretty much always use the content tree to add my components in there.
It's so nice. So I'm going to first skip and look at this stock image, but that's not who I want to see. So image source, I'm going to go to first change this to this little bind data button. I'm going to do at item.value.image. Boom, we got a lettuce. I wish that I could change the number of items that UI Builder displayed.
Because you want to see more of them in the repeater.
Exactly. Yeah. That would be so cool. Now, I
don't know if that's possible. It could be. Can we change the default stock image? There we go. We got images.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to go in here into my grid, into my repeater, and I'm going to, first I'm going to go into the container. I don't want it to be with 100%. I'm going to do 50%. And then my image, I want it to have a height of 200 pixels.
Are you doing that right now?
Oh, hey.
We only see. Oh,
thank you. I appreciate it. So, because the way that I'm having to share my screen, I can only share them by tab. So please keep me on top of things, because I will forget, like I just forgot. Cool. So Now, something that we need to change here is change this to flex shrink, because check out my short little
The tiny
images.
ketchup. I like it.
But ideally, if I did flex shrink, or not, it doesn't, that wasn't what I was supposed to click on. Want maximum width 150 pixels.
This is the fun part of CSS. It's like save preview, save preview. Did this work?
Honestly, this is the number one thing that I ask people when they tell me, is Service Portal something that I want to do or something I want to get into? I ask them, how do you feel about repetitive tasks that you feel like you change things, but then nothing actually changes over and over and over again for 8 hours of your life a day? And that usually tells you whether you can do it or not. So I am actually going to have a blank label. And I'm just going to change this to a star. And I'm going to change it to positive primary. I think is the one that I liked. And now check this out. The way that it looks right now is I have my buttons down here in the bottom corner, but I don't want that. So I am going to go here and add margin, but then I'm going to go into the 3 dots and I am going to add.
Oh, you're not in yet. We got to change our.
Thank you. So I'm going to go here. Whoops. I'm going to click on my button. I'm going to add margin. And then I'm going to click on my 3 little dots here, and I'm going to go in and customize the properties. If it would let me, please. There we go. And instead of doing the style palette picker where it uses default stuff, you can either go here and click on use custom CSS value, or you can click edit. And I am going to do negative 75 pixels here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do negative 75 pixels here. And what this is letting me do, why does that look like it applied to my entire container and not just my button? Yeah, that's not good. And then I'm going to do flex end for my alignment of my button. I'm going to just do a hard refresh on this. See if it decides to cooperate. Come here, button. I need you to show up. So if I'm justifying things center, so that shouldn't have any issues there. I've got my image centered. And I want my button flexing to the end. Now let's see what that looks like. So doing negative margins is kind of a hacky way to get your images to overlap. So now we've got the little favorite button over the image.
I like it.
And then we're going to, something that I'm passionate about is always make sure your tooltips make sense. So I'm going to put in here, add a favorite, the tooltip. I'm going to save that. And now we're going to do something fun. We are going to go to the body. And
we're on the runtime again. There we go.
Thank you.
No, you're good.
So I am going to go in here into the background. You can do it two-way. You can click on view and edit CSS here, or you can go in here and do a background image instead. So I'm going to go ahead and add this and JPEG. It looks kind of weird that you have to include this, but this basically makes it so it looks in your instances database images table. I uploaded this earlier today, and it will treat it like a URL. Otherwise, it may not always work. And then here, you can also check out what it looks like here. And for some reason, I just got to remove this background. And I've got my URL. And I'm going to hit save. And if it's not .jpeg, there it is. It's JPG. Cool. So then I'm going to go out of editing the CSS. And I want this to be, go back to editing the background with the extra properties down here. And this little guy, this button right here tells you how many custom properties it seems like you've got edited. I want this to no repeat, and I want it to be fixed. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now let's look what my fridge view looks like. Awesome, awesome.
Nice.
Now, I think I applied it to the wrong thing. So I'm going to just throw all that away, which is actually really nice that I'm able to just click one button to remove all of the settings for the background. Now I'm going to go to the actual container. And I'm going to do the exact same thing.
You got to switch tabs again.
Oh my goodness, you guys. If this was live coding happy hour, this would be a great game we could be playing.
No, I don't think we'd make it through. So you did that one on the body and it gave us the whole thing, but we really want it just on the left side. Is that what we're saying?
Exactly. Because, you know, your kids, they may not know that these are items that are meant to go in the fridge if we don't give them a picture with a fridge, you know? And it didn't work. So now let's go back and see what happened. I got my so this is something that I noticed it does.
I think you want it on that fridge view repeater.
This. Well, no, if I put a repeater, it's gonna repeat it for everyone, isn't it?
No, so that's a good no.
Here we go.
Repeater is a grid.
This was the problem. It was that it's down here. So now the problem is that for some reason when I click on the background and I press plus, it automatically adds the CSS for the color background, even though I go in here and I set the URL. So it's going to put the color over the image. Thank you.
There we go.
So when I click here to add the background, it adds the CSS for the color immediately. So when I then add the image for the background image, it just puts the color over the image and it doesn't clear out that first property for some reason.
Why do we lost the grid stuff? The list is underneath now, or did you do that on purpose?
I think it's because of the size of the image. So I should be able to do a clip for it. Something that I miss from developing in Portal is the ability to do a Z index, which is where I was able to set what images or elements were on top of each other. But I wasn't able to get that done with editing the CSS on my container. So I just pretty much gave up and did the negative margin. So this is with 100%. This is with 100%. Let's change this to 80%.
So this container that we're editing has both repeaters in it.
You're right. This is. Oh. Wait, why don't we have a bigger grid one?
I think we want to put the background on the repeater. The repeater is acting like a container. And so.
Oh my goodness. See, I thought we had a whole nother container here. Yeah, you're right. We do want it on the repeater because the repeater is the container.
Yeah.
I just wasn't looking at the right. What is the structure, Brad? You've got container
I put a container
outside
in a repeater.
But then a repeater inside of a container.
I did. There was a reason I did it, but I don't remember why. It might have had to do because I wanted to. I think it was because I wanted to put a background on one of them. But yeah, we can move that. We can move that first.
Can I do this and then do this? Cool. Okay, so now it's perfectly symmetrical. It's all things should be. Except for the extra container, but whatever. So you're right. I am going to remove the image here. Boop, all gone away. And then this one, 2 columns with 100%.
Why did it?
So we're going to go, we got the first container as a grid. We got this container. I want it to be width 80%. And I want this container to be width 20%. And that should get us back in track. Except we just got to make that the direction. And let's see how bad we've broken this. Bad, great news, it's bad. It's beautiful. Here we go. So we've got our header container, our body container. We've got the left container.
Did you change the width on the body container?
The body container is still 100%.
And there's no background or anything on this one?
There's no background.
Okay.
This container is 80%. And it is flex. Then this container is 20% and it is flex. And could it just be that we just got to make it? Yeah, we just got to make it flex. Flex fixes everything. See?
Yeah.
Check this out. Boom. Magic. I'm sharing the right one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now back to the magic making. What I want to do next is I want to fix why my images look like that. They shouldn't look like that. I'm going to change this to contain. And there we go. Now it looks a lot better. So now we're going to go back and add the image for the 3rd time to the correct container this time. Let's go. Woo! And I don't want it to repeat. I want it to be fixed. I want it in the top left. And I'm going to go in
wants to know why they're in one column, but we'll get there.
Tell Earl to stop backseat driving.
Uh-oh.
Because we're going to get there. We got this. And yet it still doesn't like me. Why won't the image work?
You want the image to be farther to the left?
I want the image to be contained inside of the
Or container 5?
container. So
I'll do it.
inside the border or inside the padding, clip. I don't want the size. Let's see what happens there. It only got worse. And these keep getting smaller for some reason that I don't understand. Why are the images just getting smaller and smaller?
Every time you refresh.
Seriously.
Because you're doing fit contain, maybe?
For the background, though?
No. Yeah, I don't know.
You're right. Earl's right. We need to just add exclamation mark important to everything. That's how you fix things in Portal, and I'm not even joking. So what I want to do next is I want to do the 2-column thing. So we're not going to click on the we are going to click on the container, and we're going to wrap. And
do you want to make that one a grid?
No, we should be able to do it with just flex.
Yeah.
And then we're going to click on this, and I'm going to set these widths to 50%. I'm going to justify and align these center. And now let's see what happened. Okay, this is at least looking a little bit less bad. It looks a lot less awful. So that's forward moving progress, people. No, I refuse to use grid.
I do like grid, but you don't have to use it.
So grid is great in that it... Oh, well, never mind. UI Builder doesn't build responsive things, so flex really doesn't matter. So I went ahead and changed this to be a direction row. And I'm going to wrap child elements to multiple lines. Align content centered. And boom, we've got now 2 columns. We're almost there, guys. So now, the next thing that I want to tackle is I want to make the list on the right-hand side a little bit less plain. So is there a reason why we need to enable styles for the repeaters, Brad?
So the difference is if you enable styles, then the repeater works as a container. If you don't enable styles, then it's just repeating things. So when you say enable styles, the repeater itself becomes a big container, and then everything inside of it repeats.
Gotcha. So Steeman just asked a great question. Bootstrap is not supported in UI Builder, and neither is Angular. So we cannot just use our beautiful little Bootstrap shorthands that we're used to.
Yeah, UI Builder is using Flex and Grid. And then there are more layout options if we enable the newer layout stuff, but it's kind of complicated.
Yeah, rip call XS6. And just when I finally learned that, um, oh, I need to go to the stylized text component. Here we go. I am going to do, does this accept mixed?
No.
No, it doesn't. Darn.
You can turn it into a script and do that. There's a couple of different ways if you wanted it to show more, or you could just use multiple components.
Oh yeah, I could just do multiple components. So let's see if there is.
And add a container inside the repeater.
Let's take a quick. Oh, there is an icon component. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to add an icon. And I want it to be a star. And I want this to go in front of my stylized text inside of my repeater. And the repeater, I want it to go this way. I'm going to align the items. And then I'm going to, no, I'm going to hit save. Let's see how that looks now. Refresh. Awesome, awesome. So now we got to make this container wrap. This is one of those situations where having multiple available to preview would be nice. Nope, it does not.
I think you want to do that on the repeater itself.
On the repeater itself?
Yeah, and then you're probably going to want to add a container inside the repeater so that the container repeats.
Got it.
Yeah, then the container will need to justify its content and everything.
There we go. And now here we've got it wrapping.
This looks good. Let's see.
There we go. Awesome.
Yay.
So now we've got our list here. And I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to add another component, another container under my container 4. And I'm going to add stylized.
You got to go back to the other tab.
Thank you. And here, I don't want a preset. I'm going to add some margin, save. The next thing that I want to take care of is container 7, container 4. I want margin here, actually. I don't want it here. And then let's pick a pretty color.
Ooh.
I like that one. Where is it? Here it is. A nice little minty green. Now, let's see what we're working with. Beautiful. We're almost there. I want my fridge to not be so big because it's causing everything to just look all wonky. Thank you, Earl. I saw that. If the bottles were chubby, you'd be upset because they're chubby. When they're not chubby, it's a problem. I just don't know how to please these stakeholders. So, do y'all really want the chubby bottles back? Okay, let's bring back chubby bottles. All that we have to do is get rid of maximum width and hit save. Oh no, still no chubby bottles. Here it is. Well, I don't know. I feel like this live stream is just cursed because I always have some form of audio issue. And right now Brad sounds like super slow and choppy to me.
Uh-oh.
So I have basically just given up when we're doing this live. Oh, here we go. I think the issue is just I'm going to remove the flex here so it won't shrink. And it'll look awful instead. Oh no, guys. I don't think we're ever going to be able to get chubby bottles back.
I think we'll be all right.
But the stakeholders, Brad, they want chubby bottles. Whatever will we do?
I want to put like 4 items across.
Yes, that's what I've been secretly trying to do without bringing attention to it.
I think it has to do, yeah.
So what do you think it has to do with?
I think we made something 50%. One of the outer containers is 50% and probably shouldn't be. Maybe it's the container. Yeah, let's take that off and see what happens. Maybe that wasn't it. Let's see.
There you go.
Well, I did space them out more.
That's the magic of flex. Look at all that reactiveness. You want to get that out of grid, that's for sure. What I do want is I want my image. I want this to be end justified. And it literally will not let me click the button. Oh no, sorry. I want my button to be end.
Does anybody know the CSS property for that? Is it just flex end?
I am almost insulted. That you didn't ask me.
Is it textual?
Okay, actually, this is really awesome. This is something that widget editor does not have. Autofill of CSS properties that also tells you the syntax and which ones are available. Nice one, Dan. See, this is actually like amazing quality of life level things. Like I really like that. So let's see. I want align self flex end.
Nice.
I'm going to remove these. There we go. So we're getting there. There we go. See, look at that. That's it looks perfect. And now if we click on, let's add, also if you guys haven't tried Japanese mayo, which is what this is, you need to try Japanese mayo. It is delicious. And it added to our list. How easy do you think it would be to remove to make it so when we click the button again, once it's, well, no, we're disabling it, so we can't click it again to remove it from the shopping list, can we?
Yeah, I think we would want to do something on the shopping list, which we could do. We could put put another icon like to the right, a button iconic, and have it be like a negative sign.
Ooh, let's do that. I love that idea. Hey, I'm going to change tabs. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you just add a after the stylized text too.
Now, what's the difference between button iconic and icon?
Button iconic is clickable, I think. Is it
That
a
checks out.
button that you can click, I think, right?
What's the difference between button iconic and the button where I just removed the label and put an icon?
I don't know that there's a huge difference if you just remove the label, but yeah.
I want this to be a small one. I want it to be, oh, I don't have any other variants.
Yeah, well, I think that should work, yeah.
And then I want, I'm going to go here and I'm going to, oh, here's the icon.
There we go.
Minus.
Ooh, we could use a trash can too.
Oh no, I just accidentally pressed a oh no, where did my window go? I think I just accidentally pressed a Mac shortcut to minimize it.
We can still see it.
Oh, thank goodness. And see, you know, I appreciate you too, Steeman. Thank you. That's the purpose of this stream, to just have fun and show development for what it really is, a hot mess. Look at that. It's a button.
Now let's make it do something.
I agree, but most importantly, we need to align this flex end. So now how do I make it do something? I go to events.
Yes, and I just realized I don't know that we're going to be able to make it. Well, let's try it. Yeah. So we're still seeing your rendered tab.
Awesome.
There we go. So what we want to do is I think we want to delete a record, and then we want to refresh the data resource. Or do we have two data resources? I don't know. Is there a data resource that lets us delete a record? I don't know that there is. We're gonna have to first add another one. Yeah, so just type delete, see if anything shows up. We don't want to delete it. There we go.
Record.
Yeah.
There we go.
So that's good.
There we go. You saw nothing.
I saw it, yeah. Then we go to the event on the button.
Okay.
So add an event handler. And then we want to execute that delete, delete, delete. And we want to give it our table name, which is list item. I think, yeah, that's it. And then if you, yeah, it should be
item
value dot sysid dot value, I think you need.
Okie dokie.
I think that's it. And then we want to add another event handler, and we want
Which is the refresh.
refresh. I think we'll want to refresh both of those. So you don't have to pass anything to it. So hit add, and then we'll add another one and refresh the get grocery favorites.
Awesome. So let's hit save.
All right. And then let's. Hey,
It worked!
nice.
First try.
That's impressive.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was nice. That delete record data resource worked for us really well, actually. So that's cool.
Yeah, that was really awesome. Is there anything else that you want to do?
I don't know. Let's look at the. We did have a request to maybe add some filtering, but I don't. Our data resource was not built in a way to allow filtering, so I may have to rewrite it a little bit or make it halfway decent.
Look at that. This is what I had meant to do with my negative margin tab thingy from earlier. Boom. Now it's
go.
on the item.
I think if we have the images, we may want to just remove the image from the page instead of just disabling the favorite. That could be a thing.
Oh, how can we hide an item from a repeater once it's in disabled state?
How do we do that? Ooh, I know how we do that. So go back to your other tab.
Thank you.
And then that container 3 flex.
Got it.
Click on it, go to the config. And then, no, there's a little eye icon to the right of where it says that one. So that lets you edit the component visibility. And so we have, so go at item .value .added .value, I think. So added shows up true if the item is on the list. So go ahead and save that. So yeah, hiding a component is actually pretty easy. So that so refresh, and then our other one should go away. Nope.
Nope.
Hide component, if that's true. And that's our container. Maybe.
Oh, I don't think we need the dot value.
Oh, yep, you're right.
There we go, guys. See, when in doubt, copy your senior developer's code. Boom. Y'all are getting all these lessons for free. You're welcome.
Hey, I think it worked.
Look at that.
So what happens if we click one of them?
Yeah. Yay! This is so cool, actually.
All
this
right.
is actually kind of cool.
Delete the lettuce or something. Let's make sure that it works the other way. I'm sure it will, but.
Sounds good. Why won't the text center? Okay. Let's refresh. And I'm going to delete milk. And it shows back up. Right. That is so cool. Okay, that is really cool, actually. You know what? I think this is a perfect stopping point, ending
I
on a
agree.
great high note before I break anything else. It's a fantastic idea. So that's where we are with the shopping list today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Brad, is there anything you want to plug before we end for the day?
I don't think so. We are going to move. I think it'll be 2 weeks or 3 weeks before we do the next one of these, because we've got some travel going on. So we're planning on doing these every other week, but they may shift around a little bit based on people's schedules. And by people, I mean the two of us. Yeah, we're going to have a Next Experience Academy coming up next month. But other than that, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, as far as where you can find out when you can catch us, we post when we're going to go live on the sndevs.com Slack server. So feel free to join our next experience UIB-workspace channel. If you guys ever have any questions or if you need anything, and we can probably help. Other than that, be sure to check our Next Experience Center of Excellence. If you have any questions, we keep that pretty up to date. And we answer any questions on the community as well. So thank you all so much for hanging out. I am glad that you guys made it through this wonderful, thrilling tab adventure with us. And I hope you all have a happy weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. Yay!
Yay!
Bye!
Bye, everybody.